guys. Welcome to You the Boss podcast, episode 92. I'm your host, Pam. And today we're going to be talking about something that a lot of us carry. We carry it quietly, not maybe in our hands, but in our minds, in our hearts, even, in the way that we talk to ourselves when no one else is around. It's about our past, the mistakes, the regrets, the moments we wish we could redo or erase completely. And whether we say it out loud or not, a lot of us have believed a lie up until this point or at some point. And that lie is because of what I've done, I'm disqualified from becoming who I want to be. But today we're going to challenge that because your past does not disqualify you. It never has, and it never will. So let's start with the weight of shame. Shame is heavy. It doesn't just remind you of what you did, it tries to define who you are. Regret or that shame can say, I made a mistake. I am the mistake. And that distinction matters more than we realize because when you believe that you are the problem, you stop believing that you're capable of growth, of change, of becoming something more. You stay stuck, you shrink, you play small, not because you lack potential, but because you've convinced yourself that you don't deserve expansion. The truth is, shame is not a life sentence. It's a signal that you've grown enough to recognize that what no longer aligns with you and who you are. You're not your old self. So let's think about this a little bit. You can look back at something that you did and that maybe you feel uncomfortable looking at that, maybe even a little bit embarrassed. And that's evidence of growth. That means that you're not the version of yourself that you were then. But so many people look at this backwards. They look at it like, I can't move forward because of that mistake. I can't move forward because of that thing that I did. When in reality, the fact that you used to be that person, that means that you've already started moving forward. You're not meant to stay frozen in your lowest moments. You're meant to evolve beyond them. There is this lie of this disqualification. Somewhere along the way, we picked up this idea that success and happiness or our purpose is reserved for people with clean pasts, with people who are polished, perfect records, no messy chapters, no toxic point in their life. But if that was true, then no one would qualify. Everyone has something. Literally, everyone has something. Maybe it's a season that they're not proud of, a decision that if they could, maybe they would take back, a version of themselves that they've outgrown. Growth doesn't come from perfection. It comes from reflection. And the people who go on to build meaningful lives, they're not the ones who avoided mistakes. They're the ones who refuse to let their mistakes define them. They're the ones who made the mistakes and pushed forward anyway. And today I want to guide you in the direction to release what you've been carrying. At the time of this episode, it is officially June. That means that we are 6 months into the year. So we're going to look to let go of some of these things that we've been carrying up until this point. It's one thing to understand that you have to let some things go, and it's a completely different one to feel free from it. So first, stop rehearsing your past like it's your identity. You don't need to revisit it every day to prove that you've learned your lesson. At some point, growth requires you to move on, not to keep circling around that thing that happened or that thing that you did. Second, take responsibility without self-destruction. You can acknowledge what you did without tearing yourself down in the process. Accountability says, I own it. Self-hate says, I am it. This is just who I am now. And those are not the same thing. Third, give yourself permission to become someone new. Not someday, not after you've made up for it, not after, you feel like you deserve it. Now. Because the longer you delay stepping into your next version, the longer that you stay tied to the old one. You still get to win. That's That's what I want you to hear today. I want you to know that you are not behind because of your past. You are not unworthy because of your past. You are not disqualified because of your past. In fact, your past might be the very thing that gives your story depth, gives it meaning, and it gives it impact. The lesson that you learned, the strength you build, the awareness that you gained, that matters. And there are people who will connect more deeply with you because you've been through something, not in spite of it. So, I want to share some tools with you to help you move through shame, regret, and old mistakes. As always, treat this as a supermarket approach. All of these things may not apply to you now. They may apply to you in the future. They may all apply to you now, but definitely take what you think is going to work best for you right now and always come back to revisit and, take some notes. So, number one, I want you to start a journal exercise called Rewrite the Story. A lot of shame comes from the story that we keep repeating about ourselves. Instead of writing, I ruined everything, why don't you reframe it? Reframe it to, I made decisions from pain, from fear, survival, or lack of awareness, and I've grown since then. I want you to create 3 columns in your journal, and I want you to write down what happened, what it taught you, and who you're becoming because of it. This helps shift your identity from stuck in the past to growing through the past. Number two, self compassion over self punishment. Many people think that beating themselves up equals accountability, but it usually just kind of keeps you trapped. So when shame shows up, I want you to ask, would I speak to someone I love this way? Am I learning from this or am I just reliving it? What would healing sound like instead? A powerful replacement phrase that I kind of really like is, I can take responsibility without destroying myself, because you absolutely can. Number three, the future self practice. Shame keeps you emotionally attached to your old identity. Spend 5 minutes every day visualizing how your healed self thinks, what they no longer apologize for, how they carry themselves, what boundaries they have, what peace feels like to that person. And then I want you to ask, what would that version of me do today? Healing often starts with practicing the identity before fully believing it. Number four, release through conversation and community. Shame grows in silence, whether it's therapy, which we are a big proponent of for on this podcast, a trusted friend, journaling, support groups, a faith community, or just honest conversations. Healing accelerates when you stop carrying everything alone. We were never meant to carry everything alone. That's in life, in whether you're in, a stage of motherhood or you're a parent in general, or maybe you are single, childless, and you live alone. You're not meant to carry everything alone. A lot of people discover that the thing that they were most ashamed of is also the thing that's going to help someone else feel left alone. So make sure you talk about it. Make sure you put yourself in the different points of being able to not let that shame be silent. I'm going to suggest some books to you, both of these that I've read in the last couple of years. One of these I've mentioned a few times on here, which is Atomic Habits by James Clear. It's not specifically about shame, but it is incredibly helpful about rebuilding self trust through small, consistent actions. And the second book is Untamed by Glennon Doyle. This is kind of a perfect book for learning how to stop living trapped by guilt, expectation, and old identities. In this book specifically, Glennon Doyle covers basically a part of her life. It's kind of like a memoir style, and she covers a part of her life where there was a lot of rediscovery and a lot of coming back home to herself and realizing that she was living with a lot of shame and a lot of, kind of like a trapped mindset. So definitely check out these 2 books. If you've been holding on to shame, maybe replaying some old mistakes, or you're questioning whether you still get to become who you want to be, let this be your reminder. Let this be your sign. You do. You still get to grow. You still get to build. You still get to become. Your past is not the entire book, it is just a chapter. It's not the whole story. If this episode spoke to you, share it with someone who might need a reminder too. And take a moment today not to look back, but to move forward. I'll talk to you in the next episode.